Films and movies have been around for over 100 years, and even now people argue to this day whether or not a movie needs to have a deeper meaning to be considered a film, or it should just be for fun and enjoyment. And in this video, that's what I hope to explain and going to discuss, and as well as make an argument for both, as someone who loves nonsense as well as things with deeper meanings. So, without further ado, let me get into my arguments. There are many arguments as to why movies should just be about a deeper meaning and shouldn't be any fun or parodies or anything. And one of those is because some people who view them can feel seen and feel like they're finally being listened to within the big world of Hollywood. I think about Get Out and how that was a social commentary, or Fight Club, which is about toxic masculinity and how men are treated within the world, or many feminist movies like Barbie and how, that comments on many problems that women have over the years, and much, much more. And these can make these movies seem profound and breaking boundaries. And we see it with films even now that have a meaning. They are profound because they did something new with the story or whatever. The it redirected a storyline, or you didn't see something happen that you thought would, hence making it seem as profound. However, at least to me, and I can see people arguing with me, and that is fine. Some of the things that seem profound in movies to others don't seem profound to me. That I kind of see with romance. It's profound because it's a romance movie and they don't get together. Well, neither did my parents, so I don't really see that as profound. I just see that as people like not ending up together, which happens a lot more often than you think. And I can see why it can be seen profound to some. Things happen, but that literally is just what it is to me. Things happen. People don't end up together. People break up. People get divorced. Granted, I'm also just not a general romance movie enjoyer to begin with, so I'm also kind of a hater. Sorry. But once, and it's, but when I say something, or like a movie getting praised about it's so profound because it did this, I'm just like, buddy, that's just life. People are gonna break up. People are gonna not be together. People are going to, lose their job. I guess, and it isn't to say that films like those can exist. They generally can, but when I see something being called profound because of it, it's just, I guess to me, it's everyday life. And it isn't to say that there aren't movies with meanings that can't be profound and tackle subjects like the Spike Lee movie, Do the Right Thing, which at the time of, I believe, the mid to late 80s, around the 90s, so was a commentary on, even within multicultural groups like like the city, I believe they're in New York, I think, there is still rampant racism and all of that, and no character is perfect. Especially Vito. Vito's a bitch. I hated that guy. And again, that is very profound, especially for the time. I guess what I think of profound of a movie with a deeper meaning, I guess maybe something that hasn't been done before, or subverts expectations, which I guess you can say, yes, that does subvert expectations within romance, not getting together. But I guess to me, I've seen so much in my own life that to me it's not really subverting, it's just life. I really do think what is profound to some is not profound to others. Sure, that's not profound to me, people not getting together in romance movies, but that might be profound to you. And I do truly think it's based off what is profound to someone else. And I think movies with meaning can relate to some people or the other. I think of the infamous movie of Turning Red, where people are like, oh, this sucks. It's just about a bunch of teenage girls, and it was a 20-year-old guy. I'm sorry to say that, but not every movie is made for a specific group of people. Turning Red was explicitly about teenage girls and what it's like to be a teenage girl and live that experience. And it just got dogpiled on. But the thing is, it's wasn't for everybody. And it's fine for a movie with a deeper meaning not to be for everybody. I think movies with multiple deeper meanings or multiple movies that have deeper meanings, i.e., trauma or again other social commentary, I think that's fine, and I think film is a very good way to bring awareness. We've been doing it since the dawn of time. I think about The Great Gatsby and how that was Fitzgerald's account about how the American dream doesn't exist and it's all just within your mind and it's not attainable, especially since it was before the cusp of the Great Depression. I think telling a deeper meaning can be done well within a film. I think it just depends on who the film is for and if people can relate to it or not. So I think, again, I do think films with deeper meaning do have a place within the movie industry and the film industry. I think it just depends on the people it is appealing to. As much as there are good reasons for a film to have a deeper meaning, i.e., generational trauma or a social issue commentary, there is also good reasons for a film to just be fun and to have a good time with. I think of the recent Minecraft movie, or some movies are so bad it's good, like The Room and Cool Cat, and just so many movies that you can just turn your brain off to and just have fun. I think those also have a place within the film world as well, as much as movies with a deeper meaning. Um, Movies that are just for fun can just bring you and your friends together, for better and worse, as we have seen recently. But it can bring you and your family together, and your friends together, and your siblings together, and just sometimes a whole community together. And on top of that, it can be comforting and bring comfort within a time of despair, or just it seems like the world is going to hell. It can be nice to have comfort. I also just think, I don't think it's a crime to have a good time with watching a movie. I feel like I see there have been a lot of complaints about movies all have some meaning and it just has to have a meaning, and I don't think that. I think it's okay to have a good time, and it's fun to have a good time while watching a movie, and not everything has to have a meaning. Not that movies with meaning don't matter, it's just that doesn't have to be everything. However, I do understand that over time the industry can get oversaturated. You've seen the same thing over and over again. And this is kind of a counterpoint for both movies that are just for fun, turn off your brain, and that have deeper meaning. I feel like now people actually want more movies, excuse me, that are just fun. And they are tired of seeing movies about trauma and all of that, and they just want more. And even movies for that are made for just fun, I feel like people get tired of. I feel like, and even then, people can just get tired of a genre or just a specific movie, unless maybe it does something new and unique. I think of now about the MCU and how after Endgame it just has gone kind of downhill from the joke problem while trying to be serious, while leading up to nothing. Like, there's no big bad like Thanos, or nothing, or it always feels like the world has to end. Not to say that Marvel movies before didn't have deeper meanings, such as Steve Rogers having to deal with the world passing by while he just stayed frozen and having to catch up with that time, or Tony's alcoholism and a slew of more problems, like Hawkeye losing his family to the snap and I believe he becomes an assassin because of it, and having to move forward. It was good for a period of time, for a good 10 years, but now I think people are just getting tired and fatigued. Not to say that superhero movies aren't doing well, or shows like Invincible aren't doing well, but I think when it comes to stuff like that, like big blockbusters, I think people just get tired. And you see it also in not even film, but in YouTube. I remember when analog horror first started with Local 58 and Gemini Home Entertainment and the Monument Mythos and the Mandela Catalog, and those were all staples within the genre, but over time it just became flooded with bad, poorly done, poorly managed. Like Urban Spook is the biggest one that I think of, where everyone goes to about uh, analog horror that has no substance or just seems like a quick cash grab, or hell, a new get rich quick scheme. It just became oversaturated with so many series that it just lost its potential. Not to say that there aren't some good analog horrors. Like, I loved Man in the Suit, and R.I.P. will be missed. I'm so sorry that had to end, but I see why. But for every Backrooms and Mandela Catalog, there was an Urban Spook or some other poorly done analog horror that's just was overdone with the outstretched face. And don't get me wrong, I love the Uncanny Valley, but I think it was just overdone. And I think that can just go for the film as well, from movies with meaning and movies for fun. It can get overdone. So I think we need a good balance of both movies for pure fun and movies with deeper meaning that people can connect to. I think we need a very nice balance of both. Balanced as all things should be, as I should say. With that being said, I think they both have their pros and cons. Movies for fun and movies with meaning. I think truly it depends on the person, if it's been done too much. And I do truly think that they both have a purpose. I also think whether a film is going to be serious and tackle a deeper subject or have a deeper meaning, or just being straight up fun, just for laughs. I think also sometime, but not all the time, be determined by the genre. Uh, you know, if it's gonna be like a biopic, or a comedy or an action. But even with that, and within genres in general, there are serious films that take themselves very seriously and want you to take them seriously and should be taken seriously. But then you have the epitome of genre films, which are just really not really filming whatever the hell Scorsese said. But even then, if they're not taking themselves seriously and they know they shouldn't, I think they're okay. And even then, in very funny movies, I think of like Mean Girls, one of my very favorite movies, with so many memorable lines and hilarious scenes. In context, the deeper meaning is the dangers of cliques, yeah, and high school bullying, and I believe even then, Tina Fey even was inspired by like not self-help book, but something like, what was it, Queen Bees and Wannabes, that again just told the dangers of cliques and navigating high school as a teenage girl. And so, and sometimes in serious movies you can crack jokes. Granted, like I stated before, it can sometimes become a problem if it's constantly doing it and it's supposed to be a serious film and it's constantly doing it. But I think a few jokes are fine here and there within a serious film as long as it doesn't deter from the main message. And again, with genre in general, and whatever movie can be absolutely fun and sometimes serious. I think about Godzilla and how he was first created after post World War II and how he was a symbolism of the horrors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and how the citizens of Japan were terrified of it happening again. And over time, he has evolved to either be a force of nature, uh, a warning against nuclear weapons, and even now sometimes is used as a metaphor of Japan not really acknowledging their imperial past, even by some Japanese citizens themselves, or who are from Japan or have parents from Japan and they live here, and it's not acknowledged, and they know it's not acknowledged. And sometimes it's just fun to see him beat Kong up. I love both. I think both are good. I think that's why Godzilla -1 is so good, or I've heard is good. It's on my list. Or again, King versus I believe Godzilla versus Kong was mid okay-ish, but both are good within their own right. The deeper meaning behind Godzilla, as it first started out, is great and really does push the deeper meanings of humanity. But at but also it just being a classic monster film is great, and I think both are absolutely great, and both deserve a place within film. And you know what? It's fine for films to be a genre film. It's fine to not take something seriously. It's fine to have fun. It's fine to want to comment about toxic masculinity, or like in Barbie, how comments on how women feel like they need to do more within the world. Uh, the flat feet joke, and how women feel as if they, the heel problem, and they always have to, despite the fact that your foot really should not bend that way. Or, just, and all the other commentary of, women feeling like they have to constantly look presentable and they can't be I shouldn't say disheveled, just not their best. And there's so many that it comments on. And I think that can work just as well as I think the Barbie movies I grew up as a kid are just as good as the Barbie film. But one is for fun and I enjoyed as a child, and I still know people enjoy them to this day. And one gives a deeper meaning, which deserves to have a deeper meaning because it is Barbie and it does deserve to have a deeper meaning, with the history behind Barbie and how she was created, with the creator seeing that only really baby dolls were made for girls, and she wanted a doll to show young girls that they could really do anything and they just didn't have to be mothers. When, Barbie came out, that's all there really was. And I think that's great. And I think the Barbie movies that I grew up as a kid, like I said, are great too. I think they're funny. I remember the 12 Dancing Princesses as a kid and loving it so much, and A Mermaid's Tale and loving it so much. And what was the other one? Was it Mariposa? I think I love that one too. I love both. The thing being is, there needs to be an equal balance between fun turn off your brain movies and movies with a deeper meaning, and I think they both deserve a place within the film industry. And it shouldn't be, movies shouldn't be determined to be taken seriously by genre or anything. The constant one that I see all the time as an animator or wanting to be an animator is animation and being seen as for kids and never taken seriously. Or, like I remember back at the Oscars 2021, if I remember correctly, and it was animation is just for kids, when in reality that's not the case. And animation, just like film, is a medium. And And you can tell so many stories with animation just like film. And that just goes back to, just because something is viewed as this, as some way, doesn't mean it only serves one purpose, whether that be for comedy or drama. They can both be serious or have a meaning, but they can also just be for plain out fun. And I think that's what's so great. And that really is one of the reasons why I want to be an animator and why I want to make cartoons. And I just love film as a whole. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to do a singular thing, or however someone says, oh, genre films aren't art, or everything has to have meaning. It can be whatever you want. And I think that's the beauty of it. So with that being said, and all my points being made, I think a film should be whatever it is to anybody. And there is room within the film industry and in the film world for very serious films that tackle societal issues or comment upon issues. Like, again, Barbie or Fight Club or American Psycho. And then there's just some that should just be plain fun and just to turn your brain off for a little bit. Like The Room or Cool Cat Saves the Kids or the Minecraft movie. Both deserve a place. And both have their pros and cons. And I really do think sometimes it depends on the person. It depends on what they want to depict. And sometimes I think if it's something that's been done before, people aren't going to want to see it. I do truly think they both have the right to be made and should be enjoyed, even if someone is in your ears saying it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. Unless like it is really genuinely a bad film that everyone can collectively agree upon. I think you should enjoy what you should. Granted, yes, within reason, if it's something like illegal. But they both have room. Serious films and funny, turn off your brain films both deserve a chance within the film world and deserve to have a chance to be shown to audiences. With all those points being said, I hope you take my argument into account, arguments, and tell me what you feel, if you think movies have to have a meaning or they should just be plain fun. Um, this is just a lot of rambling, somewhat of a script I did. This is really just one of my last assignments for college until I get this semester off. Until I come back, obviously, next year as a sophomore. But this is one of the last projects that I have to get in for my intro to film class. And yeah, so sorry if it's just rambling and me repeating. If that does get in, and it's a lot of ums and ums. I really just didn't need to get this done. And this is something I do want to talk about. But like I said, I had to get this I had to get this done. And you know, and get it into my professor. But with that being said, tell me what you think. If you agree, if you disagree, if you think my points aren't strong enough, that's completely fine. Like I said, this is just for class. And I love nonsense, but I also love things with deep meaning. I think both can be done very well, like I said, in books and video games, in film and TV, animation. I think that's the beauty of things like books and games and movies and animation. You can do whatever you please. And as someone who is a creative and has always been a creative for as long as I can remember, has always loved that you could just do whatever you please. Again, within reason. Granted that it's not illegal and weird and yeah. But yeah. I just hope you enjoyed this. If you're my professor, I hope you enjoyed this. Or if you're from my class, I hope you enjoyed this. Or if you're just someone on the internet who came across my video, I hope you enjoyed this. And I hope you had fun to my rambles. And maybe I will make another video with some ramblings. I do have ideas in mind. Granted, I do have to get a summer job, that's been going well looking. It's been great. But who knows? Maybe over the summer we'll see. But yeah, thank you for listening, if you did, and um, maybe I'll put my socials down if you want to see me. Maybe I'll put my portfolio in if you want to see my art. Um, I made actually stickers that I was going to sell at my college's run fair, but it was too close to the end of classes, so I never got a chance to. I got like 50 of them. They're a little, come on, ta-da! Sadly, they never went anywhere and they never got sold. I made them. I made the design, but I ordered them off Vogue Race because I don't have the tools and materials necessary. Here we go. But if you would want something like this, like if I were to sell them on an Etsy or something, let me know because I told you I have 50 of these I have to get rid of. I'm also poor. I'm a poor college student. I need money. I have a cat to take care of. My sweet baby. But yeah, just again, thank you. If you do, you're real. I I have always been wanting to make YouTube videos, but I never really was like brave or social enough. So I really do think maybe this video will probably push me in that direction. Maybe we'll see. Um, with the exception of like my chocolate animation, don't watch that. That's bad. But yeah, again, just thank you if you do.